All right, it's 2019. Welcome to the commute. So 2018 is a wrap. It was a good year. Trying to really take it all in. Remember some of the highlights, lowlights? I mean, last year I did 6 audiobooks. That's a total first. I mean, I started halfway through the year, so this year I should just kill that. I mean, what's 6? Well, let's do like 18 this year, right? I don't know if I can find 18 actually that will entertain me. It's really difficult. It's to sit on and listen to like 5-minute clips of stuff on Audible and be like, I'll like that book or I won't like that book. I mean, and I'm trying to stick with books that are higher learning, giving me something to think about. The one I'm listening to right now, it's called Drive. I actually started it, thought it'd be good, and then I was a little turned off by it, and I'm like, but now I'm pushing through with it. And it's funny because part of it's giving me tips on what's good with my kids. But it's about drive. There's all these case studies, and you can only have one thing driving you as a primary drive at any time. You might have 4 different drives, but that one thing that helps push whatever it is to the highest part, like the highest drive, either increases results or lowers your results. And it's funny to hear the studies that they put it through. Like, one of them was donating blood and how offering them money made the donations of blood go down. How does that even happen, right? One that made a little more sense to me, and I'll just throw it out there and then I'll move on, was there was one about puzzles. There was another one, okay, it was about picking up kids from daycare. So you got your kids in daycare, and they noticed there was like a certain percentage of parents that were always like late to picking up their kids. And so the study was to say, okay, well, there's this percentage pretty consistent with parents that are late to pick up the kids from daycare. What if we put a penalty in place? Will that incentivize them to pick up their kids? And it didn't. It actually got worse. And I was laughing because I'm like, it kind of makes sense that you go from people that care about their teacher and putting their teacher out, because the teacher has to hang out and wait around until your kid's gone. So you go from people that care about the teacher, not wanting to put them out, to thinking, you're going to penalize me anyway, so I might as well be a little bit more late, because that's like free daycare, I guess. I don't know, because you already paid for the day, right? And then if it's only a small fee, maybe it's like extra daycare for not a big deal, and you're not really putting the teacher out because they're getting a little compensation or something. Anyway, it's playing with the mindset of drive. Does a paycheck and a bonus, a promise of a huge bonus, always lead you to the best drive? It doesn't. You really have to care about something in order to have a good, consistent, solid, continual drive. Otherwise, it might start out that way and then it fades. That's why a lot of people, I think, have a hard time quitting abuse of substances or smoking or those things. It's because they have a drive and it lasts, and then if it's not a consistent, good reason for that drive, the reasoning kind of comes, and then the reasoning just doesn't fulfill that anymore. Anyway, so I'll have more books on my horizon this year. Books that I did do last year, that I did enjoy. I cover them in other series, and I talk a little bit about them. I mean, I did the Damon John, the Rise and Grind. That was expected material. Wasn't huge. Double thumbs up, maybe like 1 thumbs up. I had So Good They Can't Say No. That was a double thumbs up book. Smarter, Faster, Better, I think is how it is titled. Double thumbs up. There's a really interesting one about sorry, I gotta turn off my air conditioning. The Power of When, and it totally broke down when you should do things. When should you ask your boss for a raise? When should you eat? When should you exercise? And it breaks it down by animalistic. They say you're a bear, or you have to find out if you're a dolphin based on some case study and some tests, and decide where you fit. And then they give you all these tips on when you as a bear or when you as a dolphin should do things. That was like one thumb up. I mean, that could really be cool for a lot of people. I was driving to Utah at the time, so I finished it, but I wasn't into it. But I needed something to listen to. Because one of the books I enjoyed that wasn't for higher learning, it was about Trevor Noah, Born a Crime. And I did it just because Trevor Noah reads it. And he's got a voice and a way to, you know, he's on nighttime television with comedy show and whatever. So he knows how to word it and how to spill it. And it just keeps you hooked. And he's got some funny stories. Nobody else could have done that book justice anyway. He'll say things that his mom used to yell at him and whatever, and it's in his, you know, that home language, the African language and stuff, that like whatever, the 9 dialects that you can speak. And it's crazy to listen to, but he does it so well. It keeps you into it. Double thumbs up. Trevor Noah, Born a Crime. And especially, it gives you a perspective. There, I guess there is higher learning there, because it gives you a perspective of, I've born and raised in USA, haven't dealt with apartheid, blah blah blah, racism, someone doing more than, I mean, the most I dealt with from the government growing up was when NAFTA came into place. And most people are like, oh, it's just NAFTA. Well, NAFTA pretty much turned our farm into a hobby, because we used to make a little bit of money with beef sales and a little bit of money like well, I think we went from dairy, but NAFTA didn't kill our dairy. We went from dairy to doing beef, because dairy became its own problem and whatever to keep up. And we weren't a heavy producer. We only had 4 stalls to milk cows in. I mean, we were not producing tons of milk like the dairies you see today. And then, but like I say, we went to doing beef, and then we were selling beef at, you know, a couple dollars a pound, and then that went through the floor when NAFTA kicked in, because they could bring in beef so cheap from Argentina and South America and some of those places. Little small timers like us, it wasn't even worth putting the time in. So we kept cows for ourselves, and, you know, more of a hobby, but it was no longer a source of income by any means, because it was costing us as much, if not, you know, maybe more to keep them, produce them, to think that we're going to make any money on a large scale. So, you know, I wasn't impacted heavily by anything. Small town, whatever. Nothing like what that guy went through. The apartheid, the South America, and the troubles and the issues, and his parents and what they went through. And great story. Like I say, double thumbs up. But hopefully I'll do more books this year. It was good insight. I'm glad one of the podcasts, I think, no, it was actually somebody, that's right, it got into my head about doing audio books from some random visit trying to get me into, what is that financial network where I forget, it's been a couple years back that I'd had a first encounter, and then she was trying to get us into it. Anyway, wasn't interested. Long story short, I was more into investing into myself than trying to invest in the markets. If you haven't caught the video where I talk about that, I'm all about investing in me in the short term and making a huge income off myself than thinking I trust the markets. You know, you can thank Donald Trump. Right now, markets are killer. Thank anybody else, you're just thanking the wrong people. Can't imagine somebody thinking that Obama really set the stage for the economy and the job growth that we've got. I mean, obviously it was just up to the day he left that he was preparing it, and it was ready to turn that dime, and then he left office, unfortunately, so he couldn't reap all the benefits. I'm sure it's that. Anyway, no one wants to talk politics, man. It's almost lame to think of how anything you talk about screws you. And one of the things, you know, I'm following a little bit is because it's just talk of the times for people to podcast and do different things. I mean, it's great that they have stuff to talk about. Obviously, the political scene is super hot, has people that want to listen, so there's lots of people that want to talk about it to make some money. Okay, great. But for the life of me, why can't I think of... So there's a platform that's totally under attack right now because they canceled some guy's account. They didn't even warn him, and he didn't even offend with supposedly the offensive phrases and content. It wasn't even a video on their platform. It's gonna frustrate me to not remember the name of the platform. It starts with a P, but Patreon. So it's totally cool. I mean, Patreon has a great platform. I've heard about it. I don't have anything to put onto Patreon that I think anybody would support, so I don't have any, you know, fight there. But it's really interesting for me to see folks that make money on Patreon because they get support can have it totally dropped on the terms of service and how everything's happening to just hose you because of potentially, now none of this is a proven factual, this led to this, led to that, made him do this, but supposedly the story's like this. You got like MasterCard, PayPal, people that do financial transactions. You need people to do the merchant account stuff, or you can't be a merchant and make money. Supposedly the merchant account side of things is putting pressure on Patreon to drop. Sargon, I think is his name. Anyway, super lame to think that that's the era we live in of, you know, people have their minds in the right place to say, you know, nobody should be able to hurt anybody else. And I'm totally with you, they shouldn't, but when it's words and content and there's specific things, I mean, don't support people if you don't like people, that's fine. Why do you try and shut down and eliminate people that you just don't, and it literally seems to be that they don't agree with people. They want to say it's over hate, this, that, or the other, or they want to make your business do things because they think it's wrong if you don't provide business to a certain whatever. When I was growing up, you just stopped hanging out with those people. You didn't care about them and they went away. You don't give them any money for their business and their business goes away. If they're a-holes, let them be a-holes. You didn't try and you know, totally shut them down. I mean, maybe it's the way they can feel like they're getting back at all the bullies that pushed them around is now they can push you around because they have money and a lawyer. And it's a whole different side of bullying. And it's kind of ugly, but I don't know if they see that to me, they're bullies, but obviously they probably don't think they are. They're doing the right thing. And it's a mess. So anyway, that's my political spiel. What a mess it is. Hopefully, I told the wife, you know, I'll get concerned more financially. And I'm a person that was raised to be prepared in ways and different things, like to have a year's supply of ways of taking care of your family for a year in case things went south or you had needs, and so I was telling her how I'll be more concerned about that if Trump doesn't get reelected. But if he is reelected, which I'm pretty sure he will be, is that it depends on how that first year the re-election goes, because if it gets even uglier and more stupid, I'll know that they're just out to just break everything and it's going to be that bad, versus them waiting to be like, okay, he's gone in 3 years, let's just not be so angry. So that's going to be the kicker for me, is watching that 2020 election. Trump's still in. First year after that, how is he being treated? What's happening in the world? And then I'll decide what I got to do. I mean, there's a lot of things and toys. All right, sorry, not sure where I lost you. New Year also means I need to clean out the SD card on my cell phone. The old S7 is still treating me good. I can't, like, Verizon hasn't offered me a deal. Back in the day, they used to offer you deals to, like, upgrade a phone, and it was like $50, $100. now it's not even close to that. Now it's like, oh, upgrade and we'll cut your deal, but it's gonna be $500 for a new phone. It's so ridiculous. $500 for a phone, and that's at a deal. Anyways, it's stupid. And I mean, one of the highlights from 2018 was the GoPro Milli 1 milli challenge. They threw it out to their community. Now I got to give it to GoPro. I mean, I threw a little rant. If you ever want to see it, you can go to my LinkedIn and you'll see me kind of rant about how GoPro's lost their community. This was literally back in the day when they brought somebody over from Apple. Apple's like lame to me. People are just Apple zombies. I'm gonna go buy the new Apple, $1,000, ding. Like, stupid crazy. They lost me back in the day in the early stages when it was, you get an iPhone, you have to have iTunes, you can't use it as a hard drive, like plug it in. I can't drag and drop files. It was ridiculous. I'm like, why would I buy a phone that I can't do basic functionality of? I've got all this space, you know, I couldn't expand it, I couldn't put an SD card in it. It was just ridiculous. And you were so confined and locked in. And other things, I mean, I'm not huge into copyright music, but there was music that didn't have a license file that I couldn't put on my phone either. There's just all these things I couldn't do. And it was a headache, just a straight headache. So it's, you know, I wouldn't mind to get a new S9 or whatever, and I've got this little bit of chunk of change from this 1 milli challenge. So I don't know if you followed any of my stuff. I haven't talked about it other than my last post. The reason I put my last post up, because I was behind schedule. You notice that if you follow my YouTube videos, my post about the 1 milli challenge and winning it. Anyway, I got a small clip in it. Went my post about sending video and getting GoPro to reply. For one, I was like, oh smack, they actually replied and asked for the raw footage from the cut that I sent them. I'm like, that's the first time GoPro's ever said anything to me about any of the things I've submitted to them. So I'm like, that's cool. Thought there was a slim chance in hell that I would ever make it into a highlight reel of theirs. Anyway, I made that post. That's the only time I probably mentioned it. There was a little bit of money. There's like 18K is my cut after the government takes probably 6 or 7 of that, because I'll have to pay taxes on it, right? So my take home will be a little bit less, but it'll still be cool. I mean, what can you say to complain about that? So when I knew that GoPro had this challenge, buy a Hero 7, you have to video your footage on the Hero 7, help us create our highlight reel. I'm like, GoPro, you're coming back to the table. This is what I ranted about on LinkedIn, is that you were going all corporate. Oh, your directors and whatever, and your stock, blah, blah, blah. You got to do this, you got to do that to make that money. You made your session, the first session, and then you like said you weren't going to carry it, like make it anymore. I'm like, you guys are such sellouts. You don't even believe in your equipment. You were just building equipment to sell equipment so you could be like Apple, where you make a phone, you just expect people to go buy it. You build some new camera, you just expect people to drop and go get the new camera too. And with the new one, there was like these functions. Hyper Smooth was in there. The video looks so epic. And because you know, the Hero 6, I've got the Hero 6, I've got a Hero 5. There wasn't a huge reason for me to step up and go to a 7. I bought 2 7s because there's a short window to get this footage for this, you know, milli challenge, and I didn't want to miss shots, so I threw down, got 2 cameras, one at a discounted price because I sent an old HD camera back, so I got their deal with the camera upgrade, so that was cool. But yeah, I took a couple chances, pissed the wife off because I went Halloween weekend. We usually don't ever go on Halloween or Thanksgiving weekends because it's crazy at the dunes. People are like driving, having fun, but there are accidents, people die. You always hear stories. It's the type of craziness that you want to be there for, so you can have people to video, because I'm not that young and dumb anymore. It's not me doing that. I just want to be the guy that goes in videos. So if you're looking to go and do some dumb stuff, call me. I want to come video it. And I don't mean dumb like jackass dumb. I mean like big like epic, like you want to see it and relive it and relive it, I want a video for you, because capturing that stuff is super dope. Lots of fun. I hope nobody minds that I mix and match. Like, obviously I'm doing my commute stuff in my YouTube channel, plus the videos I make in YouTube. I mean, I don't want to separate out channels and have two different. I'm gonna put my invention stuff. Right now I'm making a new longboard using some 180 millimeters scooter wheels. Should be dope. Videos coming on that. But I've got this money from that winning, and I'm like, I don't even look at wanting to spend that money on a freaking new cell phone, because it's stupid money. The old 7's doing good anyway, so I really don't need to. So I'm surprised I'm still doing this good. I just got over a cold, so I'm saying so a lot. So suck your toe. Anyway, sorry, sidetracked. Still not gonna do the edit thing. I'm just gonna upload this as is, so enjoy. But 2019, we're looking for more success. The tips and the things are still in play. I say network, meet people, try things, do things, throw lots of things at the board, see what comes back to you. I never would have thought the GoPro thing would have come through. I was willing, and I believed in myself enough that I could probably capture a moment. I just didn't know if I was going to be around events that would be worth capturing, that would be worth putting on their video, but it's in there. So I'm glad I believed in myself enough to be able to capture that. And I'm getting a little more confident in my video edits, trying to be a little more creative. Still don't have tons of time. I'd still like to do it full time. GM might cut back and I might lose my job, because in the news right now, I work for GM, but they're cutting back. The quarter of my department's going to be gone by the first quarter. So we'll see what happens there. If I have to do more of my side stuff to make up for things while I try and get a new job, I guess then I got more time to do some of this stuff and see where it goes. So there's more to come on the commute with that. Wish me luck, because one way or the other, I've got very little control over what they do at corporate. I mean, I'm hoping to stick around because I don't mind that gig. It lets me do what I do and pays me well enough to take care of my family. And they had something at work, so this is another thing. So not only did I not think that GoPro would select me to be part of their footage for the Hero 7 release, there was a challenge at work to do a project, and they threw it out, and it's part of this thing where I'm like, hey, I don't even know why I was notified of it. I was notified of it. I threw out some ideas. One of my ideas is one that stuck, and they picked out 4 or 5 teams of people out of 170 submissions to be part of teams to help move things forward on a specific part design, and I'm part of one of those groups, which to me is totally cool. Not sure where that'll go or how it's gonna shake out, but I believed in myself enough to try, and I tried, and I put stuff out there, and things are coming back. And that's the moral of my story. I mean, it wasn't that it just happened and happened. I'm almost 5 years into some of this stuff, and it's finally starting to click. Some endurance, some perseverance, starting to pay off. So stick with it. Try things, do things, work hard. That was another one of those books I read where it talked like, don't drop everything and chase your dreams. Do things that build financial, something you can leverage to, make a living, and chase things along the way. And then, it's kind of going along with what I'm doing, where I'm chasing things on the side. I've built a career that I can make money at. I can do anything in the computer world, and I can have a job if I have to, but I am chasing my dream. If the dream pans out, I'll jump ship, or the ship will jump me and I'll have to go chase my dream while I look for a new job. Anyway, I guess that's what you get for trying to listen to me in 2019 with all this stuff going on. If you notice, I loop all my conversations back to where I started, but I definitely left you and brought you back. So listen closely and you'll see the reason why I brought things up, and then as I tie it back together, hopefully you get it. If not, ask me questions. I'm always looking for topics. I've had people agreeing with some of my other posts about Davison and Invent Now and some of those companies. I wish everybody the best, most solid year. don't let things get you down. It is a good life. There are a lot of good things to be had, to be seen. Chase your dreams, feel good about it. Make sure you're being smart, making money along the way, and taking care of those that love you, and spend time with them. You never know what you're gonna get. So we'll end it with that. Peace out. We'll be in touch next time on The Commute.